You said that this award is dedicated to immigrants for not giving up on your dream. What does that mean?
People like me, who's immigrated, who never thought it was possible. And that's why it's dedicated to people like us.
Climb the corporate ladder, earning 9 promotions in 12 years despite starting with no networks.
So if you make your boss look better, the boss is going to promote you.
And now you are the top career expert in Canada.
I'm there because I share the things that most people don't share on social media. Go, work, get paid, and go home to your family. I wish I could fix so many things.
What inspired you to create Teachndo?
When you Google whitening the resume, why immigrants are changing their name, because they think that they're not getting interviewed because they don't have an English name.
How a person can gain clarity for achieving a 6-figure career or more than that?
By building a personal brand and having that clarity to land the 6-figure, which is the CAR model I teach, right? Context, the actions, and the result. That's what I teach in my resume writing course.
Okay. The LinkedIn profile, which has many followers.
Any recruiters who are looking to recruit, they need to see your skills on a headline, let's say, increase the sales by 40%, put it there, right? So I have a lot of contents on YouTube on it, step-by-step guide, how do you end up in recruiter search, because they're a spotlight.
Effective interview tips for immigrants in Canada. What do you want to say for those who are facing their interviews very soon? Or
when I'm asking, tell me about yourself, you have no clue.
Yeah.
You're like, I just came in, I just landed from Nepal or India, Bangladesh, whatever. It's like, cut it out, because that opens the biases and everything straight to the skills, right? I teach the technique called, the PARK technique, which is your past, your present, your passion. Because I was not clear, I knew so much, I thought that I can do every job out there, but I was so wrong.
Alright, hello, namaste, bonjour, good evening, and welcome to the show. You are listening to Beyond the Borders with Arjun Season 1, Episode 16 on CKLU 96.7, CKLU.ca, and Radio Player Canada app. Thank you so much for listening to us all over the world. My name is Arjun, and the show comes to you every Sunday, 7 p.m. onwards, 8. And today, we are honored to introduce Sweta Regmi. Born and raised in Nepal, signing example of resilience and transformation. Founder and CEO of Teachndo, an internationally recognized career expert and certified career and resume strategist. From overcoming the fear of self-doubt in public speaking to achieving over 100 media appearances and numerous awards, including CBC National News Primetime, Global National News Top Story, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, HuffPost, Fox 26 News, Daily Mail, Globe and Mail, Yahoo News, National Post, LinkedIn, MSN, Forbes, and many others. Sweta's journey is truly inspiring through her one size doesn't fit all approach to career and personal battle. She has empowered countless individuals to break through barriers and achieve remarkable success. In 2024, this year, she was honored with the Outstanding Career Leader Award from Career Professionals of Canada, and she has been nominated for the prestigious RBC Canadian Women Entrepreneur Award by Women of Influence 3 years in a row. Yes, that is 22, 23, and 24. Recognized as one of the top career influencers on LinkedIn. Sweta's expertise and passion for empowering ambitious immigrant professionals have made her a leading voice in career clarity and job search strategy. Her best selling book, 21 Resilient Women, has garnered praise from leaders across Canada, further cementing her impact. Ladies and gentlemen, join us as Sweta shares her insights on overcoming adversity, building a strong personal brand, and navigating career success in today's world. Tune in and be inspired by her story and practical advice to rewrite your own path to success. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. And if I were to say that I'm kind of embarrassed, but at the same time, I got a confession to make because
Okay.
let's say that if someone told me a couple of years ago that I would have so many titles that, I'd be venturing towards, I would just be telling them, no way, you're lying. Because now these are the title that's been given to me. And I think, moreover, it's not about title, right? It's about the impact that we make with the title. Yeah.
Okay, you just talk about title. Now I'm going to talk about your name. All right. You recently posted one post. I'm going to start our conversation from there. You post about the name, Respect for immigrants doesn't start with policies or diversity slogans. Starts with something much simpler. It starts with learning how to pronounce their name. So for most of the people, name is just a name. It's optional thing. It just doesn't matter how somebody take your name, how somebody pronounce your name. But for you, it's something that matters. It's an identity, and it makes a lot of difference. I want to begin from there. Your name is Sweta, not Sweta or something else, isn't it? Let's begin from there.
Yeah, that's such a great question, right? And I think it took me a while to realize that, my name is my identity. I mean, I was born and raised in Nepal, and then, I'm from South Asia. I think a lot of time when people would start butchering my name, I was fine with it, to be honest. A typo. I write my name with SWETA, but a lot of people write it differently, which I totally get it because people have different spelling. But even that gets to me now. I think it's my name, it's our name, and I
What
think.
happens if somebody calls you Sui or Sway? What happens?
And I'd like to go back to, some kind of things that I've learned working in the corporate world, right? Miak, I can call him Mickey, but he will correct me on the spot. It's Mike until I get it right, right? And that kind of is strange for us. We're okay with that, but we're not okay with when people are pronouncing our name. We're not okay to correct them on the spot because we kind of feel like we are disrespecting them. And I think that was me, but I've learned now to correct people. Not that they're ignorant, but like teaching them how to say my name. I teach them. I have it in my bio whenever a media interview comes in, anything like that. I have a bio on a LinkedIn profile as well. I have it. How do you say my name? I make it easy for people because it's not their problem when you're not going to educate them. I was Sweta for so long because I let that happen. I never corrected it. And it's not their fault. It's my fault for not correcting them. And I teach my girl and my boy. I have two teens. And, I think it starts at home. And name is something that we are proud of it, and nobody should be allowed to walk away with it. And it takes a lot of years and experience to come to this. And I think maybe I'm over 40 and I'm realizing that, hey, I want my identity back that I lost so many years ago.
Your name matters a lot.
For immigrant,
Your
right?
identity, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yes.
All right, you also. I'm gonna go to your social media on Facebook. Like you recently, receive an prestigious award, and you said that this award is dedicated to immigrants for not giving up on your dream. What does that mean?
Oh my gosh, where do I begin, right? Did I ever think that I'd be getting this prestigious award from one of the nonprofit industry career professionals where a team of the coaching industry whole expert comes in, right? And this is the award that's been given to individuals who are nationally making an impact. And to get that as an immigrant, I never thought it would happen. It was my dream come true, but at the same time, they believed in my impact, teaching to impact on it. So once upon a time, I was just very insecure about my identity as a South Asian woman, and obviously about my accent. I was not born here. Always had a self doubt, and I come from that background where obviously my parents were liberal, but I've heard that the girls they should be in the kitchen, not in the boardroom,
True.
right? And coming from that background to coming here, winning an award, it's not for me. It's for all the women out there who can lead and then get the award. And it's not only, the people born here, people like me who's immigrated, who never thought it was possible. And that's why it's dedicated to people like us.
All right. Of course, receiving the prestigious or outstanding award. So, in addition to that, what does this recognition mean to you personally and professionally, if you have to add on that?
Absolutely. And I think awards can, you know, come and go, right? I've been named top job search expert, career advisor by various organizations. And I think that adds some credibility. And what I'm really proud of it is when people give me something that I'm really passionate about. It's not about having that company, having that title, as I said. It's about the impact that Teachndo has done it entirely for immigrant community newcomers. And they're well qualified under the immigration system. I mean, we're all here because we're qualified under the immigration system, whatever that could be. Whether you came in as an international student and you got the PR, in the process of getting PR, obviously you had to meet some standard. But then, and newcomers as well, you're qualified, you've worked hard back home, right? And when you come in here, you are looked differently sometimes. Yes, there's a biases and discriminations. And to fight back and tell immigrants that, listen, we got this. And the song that you played was right there. If you believe in moving mountains, right? It's all about resilience. And these awards means a lot, not for me only, for immigrant community, that as an entrepreneur, hey, look at us. We can get into the professional field, but at the same time we can make an impact to the immigrant community as well. And how we do that matters. And awards are one of the door that opens up for everyone. It's like, hey, dream comes true.
That's right, dreams come true. So let me take you to the memory lane back home. How did moving to a new country at the early age of 20 years old, and you followed an arranged marriage with a completely unknown person, how that shaped your resilience, and how did you find the strength to trust people and build your career? I want to begin from there. Journey from Nepal to US to Canada and to Sudbury.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking that. And I think everything was built up based on the support. I mean, I met this guy who was my best friend's uncle. Never knew it. He was in States studying, and then he was working there as well in work permit. Um, I mean, I knew his family was not totally arranged, but I never talked to him. So we talked to each other for like probably 10 minutes when he flew. He's like, hey, I want to get married. Do you have a girl? And then parents are like, everyone's like, yeah, I think we have a compatible one here. My parents didn't even know. They kind of had an idea. But then I went in. I was kind of rebel, I think. I went into his house and I said, I'm going to check this guy out and see, right? So for whatever reason, at age 20, I felt, we got connected in 10 minutes. I know people are probably thinking, my kids are even saying, Mom, no way. No way. 10 minutes we decided, right? Because of the family situation, I already knew his family. So we moved in, like, let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we had a chat in front of family. That's how the arranged marriage works sometimes, right? And and then in 15 days, I think we got engaged, and within 15 days we got married, and I flew. And now we talk about it all the time, like, was I crazy? What was I thinking, right? So within a couple of months of being married to him, he got laid off in the States. So in 60 days, he had to leave the country because he was an H-1B visa, which is the work permit, basically. And then we're like, okay, what do we do? I was dependent, I can't work. So we had a PR backup in Canada. So that's how we moved in one car. It was finance car. And I remember how we packed everything overnight and we're like, okay, we're going to move. And we stayed with our close friend in London for a bit. And then I got a referral from one of my network that I met down in US. She was a high school kid back then. So they were like, let's work at Wendy's because someone is trying to hire full-time and no one's taking full-time closing shift. And I said, okay, I'll take it. So I drove all the way. I didn't drive. My husband made, we drove together from London to Mississauga and Wendy's, and I got hired on the spot. Every night closing, and then he got to work later on in his field in IT. So yeah, rest is the story. And then, it's like I learned so much from that job. Never worked in my life, and obviously then worked in the factory, paying bills had to be paid, did a lot of survival jobs, right? 2 jobs at the time because I didn't want to take a loan and I wanted to go back to school. And it's all the stories that I hear till this day from the immigrant, right? And I laugh at it like, you got this. Your today is not going to be tomorrow. Watch me, right? So I think we're going to have to start somewhere. In order to start it, we have to upgrade our skills too, right? And that's how it began. So I went to school, I went to college here, and then I got a job in career fair. Before that, I did volunteer for IBM, obviously. They didn't pay me apprentice. So I volunteered to get a Canadian experience. You know what that likes? So everyone's like, you need Canadian experience. I'm like, fine, I'll get it for free. So I went in and then applied, and then I worked in the call center, and I understood the corporate lingo, how to handle the call, how do you diffuse the escalations, how do you talk like Canadians, So I learned so much, and based on that, it just started. I started getting noticed into the contact center role. That's how I was introduced, and I started to go and then do the customer service role. Yeah, full-time commissions and future shop, commissions role. That started giving me confidence. How do you overcome the rejection when someone says no to selling the warranty? Like warranty is big. Like, hey, do you want the warranty? And people are like, no, warranty is BS, right? So how do you overcome that rejection? How do you influence people? So I learned so much from the role, each and every role that I've ever had. And then I went to the bank, and I got promoted multiple times, 9 times within like 12 years. Led the team for over a decade, and that's how I started.
So, what drove you to work 2 survival jobs and save for college, climb the corporate ladder, earning 9 promotions in 12 years despite starting with no networks?
Um, I think it was all about influencing the influencer. I think that now I get it, which is, I'll tell you what, so if you make your boss look better, the boss is going to promote you, right? Your job is to not only look yourself better, but make sure that your boss is going to get that promotions because of you helping them out, right? I mean, it's a human nature. I look out for myself, and my boss is going to look out for himself. His boss is going to look out for himself as well. So you have to make your boss look better, and then influence the bosses as well, because in the time when there's a new project coming in, I wanted my name to be taken, even though I was not in the room. I built my personal branding with the work ethic, not sticking to, hey, this is not my job. I'll do anything to stand out. Not saying that I didn't have a work-life, balance, but I knew when to speak in the meeting, and I never left meeting without providing the solutions, because I know earlier my mentors used to say, if you keep on bringing the problem to your bosses, it's called whining. I'll never forget that. But if you bring the problem and you know that you can solve it, bring solutions on the table, here's how, and get the buy-in from the influencer, that's how you get noticed. So every meeting, I never left meeting without identifying the problem and giving solutions. So my name used to come up because of that.
All right, I want to, take you to the 1 minute phone call. When you were laid off in a 1 minute phone call despite your success, what helped you navigate the corporate politics and maintain your self worth during that difficult time?
Well, thanks for asking that question. I think, wow, and to all those people right now who are listening, job is job, and I tell people, there's no family at work. Go work, get paid, and go home to your family. I wish I could fix so many things. I mean, so there was a restructuring that was happening, and a couple of 10 people were let go, and obviously my role was eliminated at the same time as well. So I was working from home. I was sick. I was working from home, and I knew that people were let go, and they called me. And that was not even a norm back then in 2017 to get laid off over the phone. But I think whoever did it, the director, I had a very good relationship with her. She was kind enough. Instead of her coming back and on Monday, I want to do it right now over the phone, so that way she doesn't have to come back and pack her stuff and leave, right? So that was very kind-hearted. And that's what, that's what I say. How you exit employee is employee branding, right? That's state, she's in my good books all the time. And I think in that 1 minute, it didn't hit me, to be honest. I was like, okay, fine, because my husband was working in Sudbury. I wanted to move. I was planning. I had kids, and I was traveling a lot. I was kind of tired of doing everything, not putting, my kids as a priority. I was like high on career, and I think I needed that. I needed a slap on my face, to be honest, and somebody show me that, hey, listen. Enough is enough. Like you can't just keep on doing that for work, because family's at home. I had a good support with my parents and everybody, but again, at the same time, I think I needed that to self-reflect and be with my family. And I traveled, I volunteered, I went back home, and I did so much charity around that time that I knew that if I were to go back to the workforce, I would never able to do that. So I think that gave me the reality check. Wow, I had a biggest title manager leading like top team and top companies. I had a leadership under my belt, known as award-winning manager, very high good work ethic, rated high in performance reviews. I would never get fired, but here I am right now with the other people who got laid off, right? Because when it comes to losing your job, you don't matter. Your hard work do not matter. It's a profit, and there's nothing against that. It's not personal. It's business at the end of the day, right? And I think that taught me a lesson. Was I would be loyal, let's say from 9 to 5, but not after that. I'd be loyal to my family. I would never miss any kids event, no swimming lessons, no parties, no birthday parties, anything for my kids, which I had done that. Did I regret it? No one told me that, but I had a BlackBerry, I had a laptop, what am I supposed to do? Nobody has to tell you. Once you have a BlackBerry and then you're allowed to work from home, it's constant battle of, okay, I got to step up, right? And when you're like me, where you feel like your team's not going to be okay if you're not there, that's a failed leadership. I realized that later on. Your team should be functioning so well that even if you go in vacation for 20 days, your team should be functioning. That was a reality check for me. I was not there, they were functioning, right? So I think learned a lesson. It was definitely a blessing in disguise, because if I was not laid off, I wouldn't be here today talking to you.
Also, you shared your value is not based on rejection. Rejection is a redirection. And now you are the top career expert in Canada, the top, 10 best Canadian career advisor and influencer to follow on LinkedIn. How it feels.
Right. And I think I'm there because I share the things that most people don't share on social media. I talk about how layoff happened, right? I talk about the biases and discriminations that impacts people like us, people of color, immigrant, and people are really not, and talking and advocating for these kind of issues, to be honest, comes with the privileges. If I were to go back and working for somebody right now, I'd be cautious. I'm posting, my boss would be just watching me. I'm a company's ambassador, and I would not be calling out things which had happened to me or other people or my clients. And I think it's not about being top expert on it, because people see me as an expert, but for me, expert is not like someone who knows it all. Expert is someone who keeps on learning from the experience.
Absolutely.
And I'm still learning. I still learn from one another. I learn from you. I learn from other people, right? I'm never going to stop learning. And that's, to me, I don't take that lightly when people like media reaches out to me and say you're an expert, and when I don't even tell them to put expertise on it. They were like, career expert. I'm like, okay, I didn't say. I'm not comfortable, to be honest, right? When someone says you're a career expert, I'm like, am I? We still have that moment. Am I? Right? It feels great.
But then, stay motivating, keep going, and even when facing criticism and challenges, you stay motivated, you keep on going, you believe in yourself. So what advice do you have for immigrants trying to overcome obstacles while pursuing their dreams in foreign land? What do you want to say?
Wow, that's like such a great question, but like so many things to talk about it, right? Let's take a step back. And I think when we move to the different countries, and I talk about it a lot, and I've done it, I've been guilty of that too. We try to fit in. It's called cultural fit, where we're trying to be one of them, we're trying to blend in, right? And I think I've done that too. And I've started to realize that we're all unique, and why try to blend in when we're born to blend out, right? We're a cultural ad, and I wrote about this. I talk about this all the time. Let's go back to the employer's perspective. If employers are trying to hire you to fit in their box, which is, hey, are you fit? Define fit for me. Define fit for me. It's so vague. It has full biases. It has full of discriminations. What's fit for you might not be my fit, right? So that's why employers are shifting the gear towards, we're not looking for cultural fit. We're not looking for, people who look like us, who talk like us, but we're looking for cultural ad. And when they do that, that does not compromise the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging that we talk about, right? I don't want to see in a boardroom bunch of bunch of people who look like themselves. What are the mindset they have? You gotta employ people who look different, who sound different, who thinks different, and obviously that includes the international experience as well. Right, because this is what the DEIB is. And I think when it comes to what immigrant can do, to your question, is not compromising who you are, but yet learning, upskilling it as well, and understanding the job market or career market where you're trying to go. Because some things, honestly, you're going to have to unlearn it. Some things you have to learn it because we're never taught back home. There is a gap. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, immigrants, you should always hire immigrant. It's not about hiring immigrant. It's hiring qualified people, not comparing people born here versus people from outside who does have a heavy, thick accent.
Absolutely.
That person knows two languages than one person who's born here who just knows one language. That should be a strength, not a weakness.
All right, so yeah, we are in conversation, and now we're gonna be talking about Teach and Do. All right. So talking about Teach and Do, founding Teach and Do was a major turning point in your career. And what inspired you to create Teach and Do? First, I'm gonna begin from there.
So after I got laid off, and as I said, I did a lot of volunteering. And I wanted to make an impact, but I didn't want to do things. I learned new things. I wanted to go and do things that I already know based on my experience. And I bounced back. I took on the leadership role. I moved to Sudbury, and then I quit. And I worked in the employment center as well. I quit as well. And I thought, okay, I think I'm not making an impact. I'd like to go deeper based on my experience. So Teach and Do was the one that was founded. And it was actually on my husband's birthday. He registered that name because he wanted to make an impact as well. But we did not know what we wanted to do. So he was like, here's a gift for you, right? So, and then I was like, perfect. And the name itself is, I'll teach you. I'm not going to be doing things for you, but you're going to be doing it. So you are going to be learning, and you're going to keep that knowledge for the rest of your life. So for example, when I'm teaching people how to write their resume, I'm not writing for them, even though I'm certified resume strategist. I want to see people, how they come from knowing nothing, branding on a piece of paper, to how do they land the interview, because they wrote it themselves. When you write your resume yourself, it's going to be easy for you to talk about yourself in the interview. Imagine someone gives you the presentations and you're going to be leading with someone else's presentations. The confidence is going to tag down. And that's why that's what we do at Teach and Do. We're not going to do things. You're going to learn it. And I'm so confident in our program, one size does not fit all, is you can teach the entire world, the framework and everything. I'm not holding any information back. I'm not writing for you. That's how the Teach and Do was born, which is I learn it, I'm going to transfer it to you. You can transfer it to anyone you like.
You just talk about one size doesn't fit all. How was your one size doesn't fit all approach helped immigrants move forward from like survival jobs to six figures career?
Yeah, so we normally work with the individual who's had years of experience, let's say back home or or even here, who are stuck, but they know that they have that talent that they can make more. It's not only about the money. Sometimes it's not about six figure. It could be quitting the toxic boss.
Okay.
It could be you got laid off and now you don't know how to bounce back because you've never done that before, right? Because you've never had to apply back home. You come here and now you have to learn everything. So one size does not fit all. The way that my signature program that I commit to is everyone's different. You're unique. You think differently. You can't put your branding on a piece of paper and resume on a template. And that's why the templates do not work out, which is like you go download the template, let's say, on a resume, and you don't know what to put it in there. There's no one size fits all approach in there. You need to know the clarity. Let me give an example, right? So you want to be social media strategist someday, let's say, someone out there. What does it look like, right? Social media strategist is what? You need to understand what's the demand in the market. What are the employers looking for? In your mind back home, or even here, I work with the Canadian people here as well. Social media strategists may be different, but it's not about, what you're thinking. It's about what the employers are wanting. And that's exactly what goes in resume, right? So one size does not fit all is related with a survey that one of the company did. The shocking stat that people don't even know is the latter was the company. It takes 7.4 seconds for the recruiters to scan that resume. They did the eye tracker and they go with F and E format, and that would tell you you're gonna get the interview or not. Recruiters and hiring managers, right? As a hiring manager, I did exactly that. First scan is that. I have 200 resume in a corporate. Recruiter gives it to me. My talent acquisition gives it to me. I trust them. They've already scanned it, like probably 7.45 seconds, less than 10 seconds. And I'm like, okay, out of 200, 10 people is going to get the interview, right? So why do you think it's not working? Because that comes with a lot of biases and discriminations. Do you know when you Google whitening the resume, why immigrants are changing their name? Because they think that they're not getting interviewed because they don't have an English name. I've managed people in the corporate world where people had a different name, and when they came in, when I had to hand over the paycheck, their name was Oriental name, South Asian name. I was like, who's this? I didn't realize at that point, right? So that's so one size does not fit all. This is why we have to strategize based on what you're targeting, what company, what industry, and this is why it needs to be strategy, not boiler template. One piece of advice. Everyone's different.
In the same questions, like how a person can gain clarity for achieving a six-figure career or more than that, and fast promotion in under 10 weeks, as per your program. It's a 10 weeks, and especially as an immigrant or newcomer who feels undervalued in the job market.
Yes, so that's a great question, right? So when I'm talking about get clear and confidence by building the personal brand and having that clarity to land the six figure, what I'm not in 10 weeks, I'm not talking about you get to have six figure income in 10 weeks. I cannot commit to it. I cannot guarantee that, right? No one should be.
Yeah.
It's illegal for people to say, hey, land the job in 60 days because listen, I can teach you, but there's no guarantee you can even go out there and say, well, I want to land the job in this, because it depends on the market, it depends on what kind of role you're targeting, the industry and everything. The things are not controllable. In our program, what happens is, okay, you're not, let's say, give you an example on it again.
Okay.
Social media strategist. Someone wants to be social media. Okay, let me give you a real example of someone I'm working with it right now. One of the executive who's CEO in the company in India, and he's already working there. He's just immigrated in Canada, and his He's done business development. He's done the go-to-market strategies. He's done 4 or 5 different roles. He's working in the insurance industries. He's working in the banking industry, right? So I get a lot of immigrants like that who's done it all. So what happens is even he's pretty vocal, he's known, right? And he's done the interview in channel like CNBC and everything, right? The guy like that comes in and hires me to work with the one size does not fit all program. And still the gap is at his level, it's not his fault. The way that the job market there is they need to know everything. But here, it's not knowing everything. It's being an expert. Some kind of job, you need to learn every bits and pieces. Depends on what role you're targeting in leadership. You would have different function, marketing functions, sales functions, right? Different. You would lead the team of people there, the senior manager, VP and everything. Some kind of job, you would just be leading one team. And this is where the one size does not fit all strategy comes in. How you want to build a brand when you're talking to the employer. Are you Jack and Jill of all? You can do, are you building the branding saying that I can do this sales, I can do the marketing, I can do the social media, digital marketing, or are you going to be expert in one thing? Have you defined your niche? That's what we say. First is you can't just say I'm a marketing expert and I can do all the marketing. That's totally wrong. Marketing what? Umbrella, hierarchy, understand it. What are you good at? Marketing's so big. And the problem is I can do it all. Employers, when you look at the job descriptions, even if it's a marketing manager, let's say you're targeting, I bet you can go look at the 10 job descriptions in marketing. Let's pick marketing manager as a title. Do you think 10 job descriptions are exactly the same? No.
No.
But you know what people are doing? I've hired people. They're submitting exactly that one resume, boiler template resume for 10 roles. And they're blaming the employer saying that, oh, nobody hires me. But the problem here is when you're pointing the fingers to the other people, you're not saying I'm pointing towards me because you're not learning. You're not unlearning the things from back home. Or the hiring world has changed. So one size does not fit all is you got to match that resume for that role for the job posting. It's not about what you did. Having them at hello in 10 seconds with the rule. It's like a commercial. Super Bowl commercial, less than whatever second. You got to have them at hello. That's the strategy. That's a branding. Let your resume speak your work so that way you get an interview. A lot of people miss that because you're going to be rejected with the applicant tracking system, with the knockout questions. Everything is AI now, top employers. You need to learn how hirings are happening. With the CEO that I'm working with right now, we built the branding so he knows the LinkedIn profile would be upgraded. I didn't do anything for him. I taught him how to do it. He wrote the resume where he told me. How was it? I asked him. Took him 1 week. He said, oh my God, I didn't think that. It's a lot of work. People think 5 minutes resume writing. It takes me a day to write the resume if I was to write it for people.
In addition to that, what should an immigrant's resume look like for Canadian job applications with no Canadian experience?
So here's the catch, right? It's a catch-22. So when we're talking about Canadian experience, if you're talking about regulated industry, of course you're going to have it. You're going to have Canadian experience, and there's a reason, right? It's regulated. But let's talk about something that you don't have the Canadian experience, for example.
Exactly.
So I work with a lot of clients who worked. One of the a client named Rajesh. He's all over on my in YouTube as well, and he was interviewed by a news channel. And the other client Samita, who was interviewed by CBC News as well. She didn't have a Canadian experience, but she was a content strategist specialist, right? So everything got rejected. And the problem was not trying to fit into the job description. That's what it starts with, right? So one of the client, Rajesh, he worked in top companies. The first thing is, if you work in Oracle, company like Oracle, it's global. It's global, right? So you don't have to put it out there. You work in India. You can leave the location off.
Oh wow!
That controls the bias. And a lot of immigrants, what they do is I've realized when you put it on the top of resume pile, they say permanent resident. I'm like, that gives you you're fresh. Why do you have to tell people you're a newcomer? You don't have to. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Showcase the skills, and that's why there's a lot of blind recruiting where people are not even looking at the name. There are tools like that to avoid the biases, discrimination, right? So Canadian experience is all about showcasing the skills you can directly transfer to what employers are looking for. And the reason you might not be getting an interview because your resume smells like you don't know how to use the trend when it comes to resume writing. And that's a Canadian way of writing. And that's something you're going to have to learn it.
All right. So I want to be very specific. So if you have to say in numbers, what are the do's and don'ts for job seekers in Canada?
Wow, like do's and don'ts. That's such a I can go all day for that. But
Yeah.
let me give you, let's say, 3 do's and don'ts, right?
Yeah.
First is when it comes to resume, as I said, have the informations on top, valid information. So for example, the don't is if you still have that career objective on a resume, seeking the opportunity in marketing field, that's like about you. What do you want to do? It's objective statement that's outdated. That needs to be replaced by a career summary with what employers are looking for. And it's not about what you did. So let's say social media strategist. You want to put it out there. If the job posting shows, you should be managing Instagram, let's say, for that role. You should be only talking about Instagram there on a career summary. Not like I've managed everything, right? You know what I mean? So you're going to be catering that to the employer's need on top. And the data is important. Well, led the team, how many people? Who did you report to? Did you manage any budget, the numbers, if the job description says that? And followers from 0 to what, 500? What did that happen? Like the way to measure the resume is not sounding like responsibility, sounding like the impact, which is the CAR model I teach, right? Context, the actions, and the result. That's what I teach in my resume writing course.
Okay.
Imagine what happens when you're not there doing that role. The company's going to lose the money. Social media management, you're not there, what's going to happen? They're going to lose the money, leads not going to be converted. How much loss? Boom, that goes on the bullet. Not like responsible for social media handling. That means nothing. What is the impact? And this is where people struggle. Employers cannot read the mind. And there is somebody, your competition, getting ahead in Canada because they know sometime how to do it. But again, I've dealt with the people born here as well. Unfortunately, it's a known issue that people are not taught how to write the resume. Brag about yourself on a piece of paper. But you have to brag about it.
Yeah.
So that's like basically not knowing the trends, I would say. Do's and don'ts is not knowing the trend of how to write it. And then how do you talk about yourself in an interview with the storytelling method? It's like someone tells you, tell me about your weakness. You're like, I have weaknesses like multitasking and this and this. I'm like, I just want one weaknesses, which is not directly related with the job descriptions. And you want to lead to the story, which is, you know what? Public speaking is one of them. I've acknowledged it. But then again, try to the knots of if you're not applying for a public speaking role, then that should be the weaknesses. You got to cater to the needs, right? So it's always about not what you want to say, what you have. It's all about what hiring manager wants on the job description. The answer is always in there. And that's the do's and don'ts.
Okay. All right, almost at the end, but I have many questions. But I want to jump to another questions since you are in a top LinkedIn profile, which has many followers. So, as per your experience, how do someone create a LinkedIn profile that attracts recruiters in Canada? If you have to say specific, you have to be specific.
Yeah, so I mean, I do have a lot of, I wish I could tell you like so many things, but again, in the interest of time, there's a YouTube, and I do have a blog as well, which has been highest viewed. Any recruiters who are looking to recruit, they need to see your skills on a headline. Let's say, who are you? The keywords based on the job description, based on your based on the targeted role. If you're targeting, let's say, marketing manager, Yes, but what industry? Financial industry, banking sector, you got to be putting it there because recruiters are not looking for, I'm looking for result-oriented people. They're looking for hard skills. Hard skills, hard skills, hard skills. If you still have, I'm a detail-oriented person, result-oriented person, that means nothing. Show me, tell me. Don't tell me, show me with the data. How am I a result-oriented person, right? Increase the sales by 40%. Put it there, right? All keyword. Experience, sales, hard skills. Who did you report to? Who did you manage? Let's say customer service. How many calls? How many escalations? How did he save money? Things like that matters because they're all looking for hard skills to end up. And the other one is you got to engage with their page because you're a lead, just like Facebook and everywhere you go, right? When you go on Facebook, when you Google something, next thing what you see, same ad, right? Why do you think you're seeing it? Exactly the same thing recruiting tool in Indeed and the LinkedIn as well, same thing. So you need to show up in their search, and the only way you can do it is being active, posting and interacting with the recruiter, following recruiter company page, also reaching out to the right recruiter who are recruiting for your kind of niche. Not everybody recruits for you. You have to find that recruiter, partner with them, right? So I have a lot of contents on YouTube on it, step-by-step guide. How do you end up in recruiter search? Because there's a spotlight. You can be part of that as well. And I give you the background to it in there.
All right. After your application is chosen by the employers, interview phase comes. So, what are some effective interview tips for immigrants in Canada? What do you want to say for those who are facing their interviews very soon or in the days to come?
Yeah. So I think normally the immigrants that I work with, and again here too, when I'm asking, tell me about yourself, you have no clue.
Yeah.
You're like, I just came in, I just landed from Nepal or India, Bangladesh, whatever. It's like, cut it out because that opens the biases and everything straight to the skills, right? And it's still happening. And you are thinking that, oh, I'm just sharing the personal information, cut it out. So tell me about yourself should be all about how did you start, right? How did you start? Like I teach the technique called, the PARC technique, which is your past, your present, your passion, how you got there, and then the achievement that would be related with the job description itself, and the result, which is the data, and something about the company, and that opens the conversation as well. Stick to that because every time when I'm teaching someone to do something, they're not rambling, it's not irrelevant. So when you know the story, tell me about yourself should be under 2 minutes, and that actually is the first impression, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Employers know in less than 10 seconds they're going to be hiring you or not based on that information. If you nail that, and then you have 10 stories related with the job descriptions, go to ChatGPT, copy job descriptions, and then say, you know what, be a hiring manager, act like a hiring manager, and give me the interview questions. This hiring manager potentially is going to ask you. It's going to spit out 10, and then also ask on ChatGPT and say, give me example, how do I answer that on this CAR format, SOAR format, or STAR format, whatever is comfortable with it, right? That gives you the directions, and practice AI tool. I have a lot of information on the website for people for interview, AI cheat sheet and everything, even how to write the resume with the AI with the right prompt.
All right. At the end, Teachndo offers range of services from resume writing to outplacement support for layoffs. So, what are the most common challenges your clients face, and how do you help them overcome these hurdles?
Great questions. 99.9% of the clients are not clear on clarity. That's why I say get clear, if you get clear, you're confident, and then you can build the personal brand, right? If you're speaking, what is personal branding, right? If you're speaking to everybody, you're not speaking to anybody, right? So you got to speak to that one person, bring that avatar. Okay, I am in marketing, and this is my field. I worked in the banking industry. I've led the operation team, and that's me. That's getting clear. Not like, hey, can you find me any job? I'm in marketing. Can you find me any job? Like, as a recruiter, I have no clue. Your job, recruiter job is not to get the information from you. Recruiter job is to understand you're the right fit. They're not finding the role for you. They're finding the role for the hiring manager, their partner. And a lot of people have that understanding, the belief in immigrant mentality is recruiter works for us. No. And they're not going to coach you if your resume is bad. That's not their job. They're not going to prep you. You got to work hard on it, right? And the thing is that being clear is the strategy. Even people like me who's been working in this market when I got laid off, I had a hard time because I was not clear. I knew so much. I thought that I can do every job out there, but I was so wrong. So I had to sit down and slap myself and thought, what am I thinking? I was a hiring manager. Why would I hire someone who thinks that they know it all? And you cannot be expert in everything. And that's a problem we have. Define the niche, define the industry, brand it properly all over on LinkedIn, on a resume, customize it, and you're ready to go. And that's the major problem. People are struggling because nobody teaches them. Colleges, university got to do better as well, teaching them as well. They're getting better, right? But they can do so much.
Before we leave, transitioning from a hiring manager at award-winning companies to founding Teachndo is a huge leap for you. So before we leave, what message you want to give as an immigrant, as an international, to all the immigrants, newcomers, and those who are struggling, and what do you want to say? What message you want to give to them, those who are listening to us right now?
I never thought that I'd be leading. I never thought that I'd be working in the corporate world and leading the top team and getting laid off. And then never thought, when people used to think, oh, I should quit, I'm like, you're crazy. I quit 2 jobs, right? Never thought that. You never know what's going to come at you when life happens to you. Be ready. Be willing to try and take a risk. Whether you're immigrant or born here, doesn't matter. You know what? Don't tell people I'll do this. Show them. Talk is cheap. Show them, right? And your today is not going to be tomorrow if you're willing to do whatever it takes. No excuses. And remember, when you're pointing the fingers at the system, yes, there's a biases and discriminations, but what are you going to do about it? You got to create the strategy to fight back. There are good people here. I'm here because of them, right? We got to be surrounding ourselves with the good people. That's it.
Wow. Thank you so much for this wonderful insights, and thank you so much for your time. And